Today, I'm going to talk to you about 10 things I wish I knew before I started decluttering my clothes and accessories. These things will save you time, energy, and stress as you decide what to do with 20 to 30 years of stuff. Whether you are Swedish death cleaning or decluttering, you will find these tips helpful. Number 6 is something I really struggled with. I wonder if you did too. So let's get started. Do you ever buy clothing items for your imaginary self? Well, that has happened to me more than once. And a perfect example is a couple of years ago, I was at an estate sale with my kids when I came across the most magnificent jacket. The cuffs had this flowing fur coming right off of it. It was like something I had only seen once. Now, a little backstory on why I thought that this jacket might be a good purchase is back in Michigan, we lived in a subdivision, and one day they were having a meeting. And my husband's like, yeah, let's go. We've got to go to this meeting. So little did I know that they were selecting a board member. My husband nominated me and I got elected. So here I am on this board. We went to a lunch meeting and in walked Kid Rock wearing this kind of jacket that I'm talking about. And I thought, oh my gosh, that guy is just wearing that jacket. It is not wearing him. So when I saw this jacket at this estate sale, of course I thought, ooh, I will be wearing this jacket. It will not wear me. But I took some pictures of myself and I looked at them and I thought, oh my gosh, I wish I could have seen or paid attention to the look on my face because it's very clear that I did not feel comfortable in this jacket whatsoever. So I bought it anyway, of course. And do you think I reached for it? No, I did not reach for it. I never reached for it. So eventually I parted ways and continued my hunt. I found this. And here's the difference. As soon as I found this jacket and I got it home, I ripped the tag off of it and wore it immediately. So what I wish I would have known is it's all right to part ways with things like that. If I make a mistake, it's okay. But I shouldn't keep that in my wardrobe. I should just go ahead and let it go because ultimately it made room for something I really did enjoy and love. Another thing I wish I would have known is it is okay to part ways with clothes that are from a previous activity or job. And I'll give you a couple of examples. I used to run, but now I don't. And so it was okay for me to pass on the clothes that I no longer use for running. And that makes way for new clothes for my new activities. I think that's a good way to do it. Why keep something, especially a lot of it, if you're not going to do that activity anymore? And if there's a chance that you might have that activity pop up here and there, go ahead and keep a couple of those items. That's a smart thing to do. But having like 10 or 15 different clothing items for an activity or a job that you no longer do, it's all right to just go ahead and let those go. I actually had a former teacher comment to me, and she said that she did get rid of most of her clothes from her teaching career, but she did keep a couple, and she was happy that she did because she ended up doing substitute teaching here and there. So that is actually the right way to do it. Bravo to her. Little intermission. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video, and please leave me a comment below. I would absolutely love it if you gave me some ideas that I haven't covered here. Now, back in the day, I had decision fatigue. Have you ever had decision fatigue? I think it's pretty common, but maybe you just don't understand what it is. I know I didn't. So basically, it's like you're exhausted from making decisions. So the solution is that you find things in your life that you can go ahead and just kind of have those decisions made for you. So back then, I decided I'm going to go ahead and have more of a uniform wardrobe. I had 4 kids. I just had so much going, and I got tired of going into my closet trying to figure out what I was going to wear. Well, that caused me to get in the habit of having duplicate items. And as you know, you're always going to veer toward that one color. This is an example for me. I have this pair of black jeans, and I have this pair of gray jeans. They are exactly the same pair of jeans, and they fit me like $1,000,000, which is always a good thing, right? However, this pair of gray jeans, there's a couple things wrong. A, I don't feel confident in them, and B, I am a slob. I mess things up almost instantaneously. That's why I wear a lot of dark clothes, because I will stain them up. It's almost guaranteed. Now, this is something I wished I learned a long time ago, and that is that colors matter on your skin tone. I didn't find out about this for most of my life. In fact, I just found out about it recently, maybe a year ago. And it was because of my daughter again. I'm telling you, she's just full of awesome tips. So she calls up and she's all excited. She said she was on YouTube and she found a color analysis video. And it's all about how different colors make you have a more vibrant skin tone. And I thought, what the heck? There's no way, because I'm the type of person that always goes straight to the clearance rack in a store and I buy whatever color there is on that rack as long as it's a good deal, right? We've all been there. So I thought, I don't know about this, but I watched the color analysis and I thought, I'm going to try this out myself. So I stood in front of the mirror and I took these different colors. One was like this beautiful yellow. It looks fantastic on my younger daughter. I tried to put it up against me. It looked horrible. As it turns out, I am what they call a winter, a deep winter, actually. So items like this coat actually look really good on my skin tone, or like a magenta or a deep burgundy. Those kind of dark jewel tones look fantastic on me. There's other skin tones. There's 4 of them, actually, 4 different categories. One is winter, then there is summer, and then there is autumn and spring. And so I looked into that and I thought, wow, I started taking notice of different people around me and how clothing looked on them. And it was so astonishing. It's something I never looked at. So to say the least, I wish I would have known this a long time ago. So when I'm shopping now, I definitely select only the items that are in my jewel tone category. If they are spring tones or whatever, I just keep walking. And do you know how much time that has saved me and money? Tons. Have you guys ever heard what I'm talking about with this color analysis? And if so, what category do you fall in? Another thing that I wish I would have realized is it's okay to get rid of items that I no longer feel comfortable with using, such as something that has a stain or a hole. They don't need to clog up my closet and my drawers. So I'll do my best to try to sew something or remove a stain, but if that's not possible, I feel good these days about just parting ways with it. I don't need to keep something like that. I wish I would have known that a long time ago. I wore things that made me feel uncomfortable, that it was obvious that I had a stain on it, and I don't want to feel like that. I should feel good in my clothes. Do you have items you consider that are 10s? Do you know what I mean about 10s? I didn't really understand this until I was talking to my daughter one day. We were planning a trip. It was a graduation, I'll back up here. It was a graduation present to myself. I finally finished my bachelor's degree this past summer, actually. And I was taking some of my kids on a trip, and I was packing and I had some questions. So I called my daughter, who's really good at style and clothes and that. And I said, I don't know, what should I bring? And she goes, well, obviously you have to bring your 10s. And I said, what is 10s? So she basically said, bring the things that you feel most confident in. Like you walk out the door and you feel like $1,000,000. That's the kind of thing you want to bring. Those are 10s. So I thought to myself, why am I only going to bring 10s on a trip? Why don't I have only 10s in my wardrobe completely? And I went to town on my stuff after that. I no longer was going to make the mistake of just keeping something because I paid good money for it or it was okay. I just decided I'm going to feel as good as I can with every single thing that is in my closet and drawers. You know how when you take a trip and you see a shirt and it says whatever destination or place that you are, and you're like, oh, I got to have that. I'm going to wear it. But then you get home and you actually don't wear it. Okay, I've been in that position many times. Now, I have had shirts that worked out too. Florida Keys, for some reason, always has a great shirt that I wear and wear out and then get rid of. And then the next time I go, I get another one, and I'm really happy with those. But there's been many times where I did not feel that way about a shirt and it just sat there in my closet. I wished I would have gotten rid of those a long time ago, but I finally have now. So I want to tell you that if you have some of those items in your closet, it's all right to part ways with them. Maybe demote them to like your paint box where you have a paint shirt or a garden shirt. That's fine too. But if you already have a shirt in there, you don't need it, just go ahead and pass it on to somebody else. They might really like it and appreciate it. Do you ever just feel dumpy in your clothes? You can't quite put your finger on it, but you just feel not quite right. Well, same here. There has been so many times I can't even tell you. For instance, I bought this long skirt when I was on my trip, and I am only 5'5.5". I cannot pull this off. But I thought, wow, this thing is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and buy it. So I did, and of course it was a mistake. But most of the time, I would just say, I feel dumpy in the item. Now, I started to realize what was wrong. It was the cut most of the time, or the way it fell on my body. Maybe my pants weren't long enough, and maybe a jacket would land on my hips, and that just was not a flattering way for it to fall on me. Or maybe, like I mentioned, the skirt was too long, or it landed at a strange spot on my calves. These guys right here are a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Now, I should not have chosen this color. I don't feel confident in it at all. Let me tell you, like at all. And when I look at pictures of myself in these shorts, I could see it on my face. This, however, when I look at pictures of myself in these shorts, these are swim shorts, by the way, but when I look at myself, I feel confident. You can just see it in my expression. And that's really what you're going for here. These were all things I never realized and could never put my finger on it. I am so glad that I finally decluttered those items because they never made me feel quite right. What I would suggest is you go through your wardrobe and really identify the items that you don't feel comfortable in. Maybe look in a mirror and take pictures of yourself, because I think sometimes just looking in a mirror isn't quite enough. Sometimes visually in a picture, a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Or look through your photos in your phone, for instance, and just say, this doesn't quite land right on me. I'm not happy with it. I don't feel confident in it. Those are the things to get rid of. And then start paying attention to the things that do make you feel good. And when you're out shopping the next time, that's what you select. And you don't make any exceptions. Now, when you buy something new or you're gifted something new, I learned it is okay to get rid of the old item. I'm going to use socks as an example. I give these out as gifts to my kids all the time, so oftentimes would just say, okay, yeah, just keep your old socks, that's fine, and implement the new socks. But I've changed my ways on that. Really get rid of the old socks. Most of the time, they've got holes in them, or they're worn thin, or they just are out of shape. Part ways with those, because there's nothing like a new pair of socks. I don't know what it is, but they just make you feel great. A bonus would actually be that you can shut your drawer. We all know what I'm talking about with that one. Are you like me, where you have a ton of accessory items such as shoes, boots, coats, raincoats, gloves, hats, baseball caps, you name it, right? I have so many of those things. Well, I did. And I learned that it was okay to just edit that down. I was so happy when I did too, because they're the type of things that can really clog up your closet or your drawers or your hooks or your storage for that matter. And I live in a small house, so that was a mandatory thing that I had to do. Things were just not even fitting on my coat rack or my off-season coat rack, or even the bins that we have off-season things in. I had hats that were too tight on my head and left marks on my forehead. Who wants to walk around looking like that? Or sunglasses that left that weird little mark on your nose because they have those little plastic parts that leave an imprint. Or handbags that hurt my back. I got rid of so many of those. One in particular was this cute Kate Spade handbag that I had from eons ago. I hadn't used it in about 20 years. And I loved it back in the day, but it's the kind that you carried on your arm and not across your body. And I never used it anymore because of that. Plus, it was too big. And so I just parted ways with it. Oh, and the shoes that hurt your feet. Oh, I'm done with those. I'm so done, right? You probably have the same kind. I cannot stand them, and I'm just going for comfort these days. Cute, but comfortable. So it is a good idea to go through those items because oftentimes you're always going to have your favorites. I just want to remind you that this video is part of a series, so check those other videos out.